So the South Metro Denver Chamber has been involved in the oil and gas industry pretty intensively over the last year because we realized the importance of the economic impact, not only for the industry, but for other businesses. We often think in isolation, and we forget that every major company has a whole bunch of other companies that are essential for its success. In our situation, why do the South Metro Denver suburbs care about oil and gas? The amount of law firms, accounting firms, transportation firms, business product firms, it's really pretty extensive. We did a search of all our businesses in 4 counties in South Metro Denver, and it's literally hundreds and hundreds and thousands of jobs that are dependent on the success of this industry. One of the interesting things about a subject like this is we often think it's just a big company, and there are very big companies involved in it. But there is a ton of small businesses. In fact, it was just a month or 2 ago that I was down in historic downtown Littleton. And there was a gentleman that lives next to a beautiful little lake that I've known. I used to fish in that lake 35 years ago. And that gentleman's been involved in the oil and gas business for, I think he said, 44 years. And he's always lived in that same house. And so it's not some company moving from out of state. It's not some big company taking over. The oil and gas industry has been involved in Colorado for a long time, and there's a lot. Most of my dad's generation, going back into the 1950s in Denver, their families created their whole livelihoods over the oil and gas industry, and now it's making a major resurgence. And for people like me, that's all great news. It's interesting how these younger generations are moving jobs frequently. At least in my parents' generation, somebody would stay in one job all their life. It is almost once a week now that I'm getting either I have an opportunity in the oil and gas industry, or somebody that's looking to make a career change that I'm able to help connect businesses together. It's great news for a young professional, maybe a little bit more of the outdoorsman type versus an office, but for somebody who doesn't mind a little bit of weather or seeing the world, it is an amazing job, and it's not just hard manual labor. There's some very technical fields, but it's fun to be able to connect those people together. We have that neat Colorado ethic. We care about the environment and we care about our future. Jobs and the environment can go hand to hand, and I think we're proving that in Colorado. The oil and gas industry has been a significant partner, not only in the taxes they pay that are extensive, but also community involvement. In fact, we have a member of our board of directors that has chosen to serve the community in that way. But it's also partnering with school districts and nonprofits. In that one company alone, we have 4 active employees that are involved in helping businesses grow. They volunteer their own time in my organization. It's inspiring to see not only seasoned executives, but junior employees decide to make a difference where they live, work, and play. With any complex issue or business model, it's often confusing when you don't know enough facts. You don't even know the right questions to ask. So our organization has asked the professionals, both from the trade associations as well as companies, to come in and brief the general business community. And it's fun once you spend an hour or 2 understanding some of the nuances and complexities, how interesting this industry really is. It's there's a famous quote on that: the only thing that we have to fear is fear itself. When you don't understand the issue, it can be somewhat intimidating or even scary. Almost without exception, hundreds of our business leaders have investigated this issue, talked to the experts, and realized that all the strengths or the upside are much better than the weaknesses or the downside. We want to heat our home, and we want to go from here to there, and we want to be able to power our equipment. And if we can do that more locally and use our own resources, then almost everybody that's looked at this issue in our business community has said this is not only worth supporting, but supporting in a really big way. We support renewal, and we're standing behind that. But if we're not careful, we may just make some decisions that drive the costs of producing traditional energy so exorbitantly expensive that none of the options are very healthy. We need to be really concentrated on our economy. We need to really be helpful in creating jobs. And any time that we've reached out to the industry, they've reached the hand back very strongly. They've decided to partner with us. We can have our cake and eat it too. We can plan for the future, we can protect our environment, and we can use our resources wisely now when we really need those resources at home as much as we can. So another great advantage of doing business in Colorado is that we've got some really great scientists. It's not just Colorado School of Mines, although that's one of the worldwide reputations up at mines. It's the University of Colorado at Boulder, as well as Colorado State University up at Fort Collins. And we have talked to a wide variety of professors, experts, and researchers in the industry. And we've got generations of people with experience, experts, scientists, researchers, that evaluate all of this new technology and the procedures, both the technology of it itself as well as the operating. And without doubt, all of the experts in the industry says this is an amazing field that is really pretty clean. And sure, there's instances of mistakes and there's things that happen, but as an industry, this is a pretty remarkable clean industry. So from an environmental standpoint, what we urge our business folks as well as our community leaders is to really do some superficial research. And then once you find the sources of expertise, whether it's a university or whether it's a government regulator, this industry is one of the most regulated industries of any industry in the nation. Colorado has some of the very strictest, firmest regulations. In fact, we should be immune from hysteria. People with wild-eyed claims and unsubstantiated facts, people that just throw something at the wall without really understanding the issue, or maybe they're protecting their special interests. We urge everyone to do your own independent research. The information is pretty easy to find. There are a ton of experts, whether it's universities or scientists or studies or government regulators. In our organization, we have found that the more we research it, we understand that the more the experts are correct, that this is a really good industry. And it's an industry we should support wholeheartedly.